my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, welcome to 2025, my friend. And you are also a bellend. So this is your pick. And we're going back to... You're not really a bellend. We're going back to 1987. Yeah, and this movie stars Oliver Reed, Dave, Urbano Barberini, but more importantly, Dave, Rebecca Ferrati, my friend. So this one is gore. It's a sci-fi sword and sorcery, load of bullshit. And it's based, off a novel, Sword and Planet novels, apparently. But anyway, Dave, I know you stitched me. When do you remember this movie?
Oh, I've never seen this one before, Chris. However, after fucking Santa with muscles, and Happy New Year, everyone, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I was. I'd had it planned for months that I was going to do Godfather 2. And but when I found out about Santa with Muscles, I had to do a quick pivot, and I thought, well, no, Godfather 2, we'll do something else beginning with G. And honestly, I hadn't heard of gore, but I was just looking for some terrible sword and sorcery movies. And like I say, I thought, I'm always looking for major events, Christmas, Halloween, things like that. I'm looking for some kind of link to what the event is. And I think I mentioned last year, Gore, the planet Gore, also has a new year. Now, what I will say... So Gore is supposed to be, it's almost like DC's Counter Earth or Earth 2. So I think here they call it Counter Earth, actually. And on the day of the Vernal Equinox, actually I should do this in like sword and sorcery. Many northern Gorean cities celebrate the Gorean New Year. Typically upon this day, a celebration takes place. Doors are painted green, a citywide festival is held, lasting 2 full Gorean hands. Hand equals 10 our days, our Earth days, Chris. So there you go. Gore, the planet Gore, has a new year as well, and it's at the opposite. So it's like the opposite side of the sun. So we can never see Gore, but it's there. It's just in the opposite end of the orbit to us. And when I discovered this, Chris, there was only one choice, and I thought you will fucking love it.
Well, there is actually a Gore 2 as well, Dave, which came out the year after with the same cast. Oh my god! I don't know. Actually, I might watch it, and we'll get into that in the thing. But yeah, I'd never heard about this movie, Dave. And more importantly, Santa with Muscles was such the pinnacle of the VHS Strikes Back. What a way to end the year. And I felt like really you've been disrespectful to the memory of Terry Jean Bollier's portrayal there, Dave, of Blake, whatever he was called, the paintball protein king. What a film. We've recently done a watch along with the Patreons as well, which was good fun, and everyone was sort of taking the piss. So thank you for tuning in, everybody, and Dave, thank you for sorting all that out. It was good fun, and I just love the fact that Hogan, I think Blake summed it up in the chat. Blake said, how can I'm paraphrasing, but basically, how can he be so charismatic or one of the biggest wrestling stars with so much energy, so much character, be so fucking terrible as an actor? Now, I'm totally bastardizing what Blake said, but I got what he meant. He's all right, because you go from being this larger-than-life, over-the-top, like, superhero in Hulk Hogan, and then he goes into these movies, and you're like, fuck me, he's terrible. Even when and it shows he was on the road a lot around this time with his kids, because his young kids were like Nick and Brooke were both probably 9-10 years old. But he didn't got a fucking clue how to deal with kids or to talk to them. I know
Yeah.
it's a script, but he just doesn't look very fatherly, like obviously because he was always on the road wrestling and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, so when you threw this in the book, Dave, I just think it's downright disrespectful. And obviously my pick will be coming first soon in a few weeks, so I've got one up my sleeve. Don't you worry. We'll start 2025 as we mean to go on.
Well, I'm not sure, Chris. I haven't quite decided yet, but it did cross my mind. I thought, is 2025 going to be just the year of carnage, the year of the stitch-up, the year of the terrible or wonderful bad movies? I'm not sure yet, but we're starting off strong. And, I have to say, Chris, and like you say, I'm sure we'll get into this a bit later. When I was watching this, I was thinking, now, why did young Dave like these sword and sorcery movies quite so much?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I think Rebecca Ferrati gave me a bit of a reminder. I think this is what sort of maybe caught my eye in the video store, when you see, the artwork on these sword and sorcery films as well, in the early 80s, all the 80s actually, sort of post-Conan, I would say. It was just fantastic. But you'd usually have these highly impractical, like, barbarian bikinis, basically.
Yeah.
Just made absolutely no sense. But I'm like, I think that might have been what drew me in.
Well, you say there was a stirring. What did you say? It may have done something. I think
Caught my eye, but I think a bit early for a stirring then. But I think, Chris, if I'd have known of this movie's existence in my mid to late teens, my word, I'd have watched this a lot.
Fucking hell, Dave. I'd have been walking around with my tracky bottoms on, with it tucked in the fucking waistband. Fuck me. This would have gone down as one of my cult classics as well. I hate this sort of shit. But yeah, unbelievable, Dave. And I don't want to ruin anything, Dave, but I'll be honest with you. I walked around with a permanent semi watching this one. Unbelievable. Let's start 2025 as we mean to go on. No fucking art student fucking reviews. It gave Chris a fucking semi. Unbelievable. What a fucking movie. We haven't even got into it yet, Dave, but we need to talk about this. 100%.
Shall we get into the trailer?
Let's go.
It was a time of tyranny and savage slavery, when an evil priest ruled over all.
I want them all captured, killed.
It was a world desperately in need of a hero. And through the powers of a mystical ring, a college professor is transported through time.
Hold it! I'll show you my driver's license. See? It's a mistake.
And finds himself thrust into the legendary world of Gore. Now, he must learn the ways of war. Journey across a vast wilderness and join the battle to overthrow the corrupt king.
I am the one who controls your destiny.
For only his victory can save their world. Urbano Barberini, Rebecca Ferrati, Jack Palance, Paul L. Smith, and Oliver Reed as Sarm. From science fiction author John Norman's best-selling series comes Gore.
After being snubbed before a weekend getaway by his teaching assistant, socially awkward Professor Carl Calvert accidentally unlocks the magical properties of a ring which transports him to the planet Gore. After his arrival, Cabot encounters a village being attacked by the army of the tyrannical priest king Sarm. Sarm's forces are invading neighbouring settlements in an effort to retrieve the Homestone, a mystical object that creates pathways between Gore and distant Earth. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, Tal Cabot is this weird guy who obviously, a bit like when you watch some of these movies, we've just seen the new Superman trailer and the Clark Kent portrayal. I'm all for, to be honest. There's so many bellends online, especially on Twitter. I know you're not on Twitter now, but fuck me. Oh, I don't like the colour grading. It's like, I love Man of Steel. I know you don't like Man of Steel, but I was never a massive fan of the suit that's Henry Cavill as Superman, because he always looks too dark and grubby. Yeah, I like the Christopher Reeve stuff. I mean, it sparked my interest this week. You rang me yesterday. I was watching Superman 3, very much at the point when he does the old junkyard scene, which I fucking love. I love that fucking fight scene. It's ridiculous, but I love the end with the reveal of the shirt and everything. And rips the shirt off. I love it. So I watched all that, and I watched it for a few years. Love it. But then it was always too dark and grubby. The suit, I always felt like it was wearing, even when they said he was going to wear the black suit and all that. So watching this week and watching like the Clark Kent that he's going to portray, that thingy, what's he called? Thingy,
no idea.
The guy's name? Karen Sweater, whatever his name, whatever his name is. He looks the part anyway. He's 6'4". He's a big lad. He looks the part. So you can go for it. You can go. Yeah, we know Superman takes his glasses off. Henry Cavill, I thought, as much as I loved him as Superman and Clark, one of the worst Clark Kents for the old.
Yeah. Just Henry Cavill with glasses, isn't it?
Yeah, even and I think, to be fair, I slagged off the midget Superman, as I called him a few years ago. Lois and Clark, whatever it's called. I'm really enjoying watching it. This new.
It was good,
series,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm
on the I'm on second series now, and he's good. But again, he takes the glasses at one point, so he's fucking father-in-law. He's like, oh my God! And the lads are there in the first fucking episode. Literally, Superman lifts the fucking, and he's like, he don't look any different. The hair's not different. He's just got glasses on. He's never been around the house with the dad. He's always had glasses on, apparently, Dave, for like 15 years of life. But anyway, this Albert guy, you can see he's got something underneath that fucking suit he's got on, Annie. He's trying to play the sort of almost awkward Clark Kent character. And what I love about it is when he's driving home, there is literally a fucking monsoon being thrown at his windscreen. Water. He's just like, mate, just pull over. I'm sure you're the same. I've driven in a few of them fucking scenarios when you're on the motorway and you're like, I cannot see. We are in trouble here. If someone breaks in front, we're in trouble. I've had it a couple of times in my lifetime. And it's scary. And he's driving, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. I'm not having this. It's like Coronation Street levels where all of a sudden you can tell they're just throwing a hose pipe over the top to make it look like rain. But when he actually crashes, and he's obviously got the ring on at this point and all that, there's no fucking rain in the fucking sky. He's gone literally skidded off the road, hit a tree. The and then he gets and there's a bit of wet everywhere, but the rain suddenly stops. Back to the Future style, Dave. The Doc said, yeah, it's going to 3, 2, it's gone. And I'm like, come on. And I know the budget, and it's part of that. But Dave, when we get transported, so I'm thinking, Dave has done me. What's this on? This on for 94 minutes. I'm thinking, you're an absolute bellend. But I've got to be honest, Dave. Rebecca Ferrati, I am in love, my friend. The look of ladies. When I was young, it was Pamela Anderson, as I've said, Screensavers and all like the blonde. But I did love Jet from Gladiators and Salma Hayek, obviously, and Dustin. But this, for me, I would have been maybe 10, 11 when this, 11, 12, probably when it came out in the UK. 88 probably would have been on VHS over here. Oh my God, Dave. Oh my God. She's the one who tries that with Ace Ventura as well. And she's a playboy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all sorts of Latino. Yeah. I can get on board. I'm not talking about Gore, Dave. I just want to talk about that for the whole podcast, because I even love the fact that they're trying to convince us it's this medieval world, but you can see a fucking boob tan line as well, Dave. And obviously she's wearing a bikini, so it's not on.
You were looking. You were really trying to spot that.
Well,
as well.
I've got 65-inch fucking telly there, which is ultra HD with 144 hertz, Dave. So I had the perfect fidelity for this. And I had to rewind a few bits just to make sure I didn't miss any of the dialogue because it was so good.
Oh, yeah.
But oh my God, it was like, in the Mask when the fucking cartoon character thing comes on, the dog, and he's like,
it's from
his fucking whisk eyes gone. The fucking jaws on the floor. I was paying no attention to this movie, just cursing your fucking. I had your voodoo doll stabbing it, going, you fucking bellend. And then I literally dropped my phone and just sat there watching it, going, this is fantastic. What a movie. And that was it, Dave. But however, there's a few scenes where she does have the bikini on. We do see her, but she gets a bit cheeky, shall we say. And I know we're in 2025, and it's like, you've got to thingy, but I don't give a fuck. She is stunning, Dave. We can all bow at Rebecca Ferrari's altar because I would have been in love 100%. I wasn't happy about some of the blokes showing me the fucking arse cheeks, though, Dave, as this went on. I'm not happy about this. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of close-ups of blokes' arses and the fucking G-ropes that they were wearing. I don't need to see that. Rebecca Ferrari all day long. Build the fucking gore world around her. Dave, you have made a mistake, my friend. This movie is fucking shit, but I absolutely loved it, and I loved it for various things that surround the character of Talina. So you, my friend, I'm doing a virtual two-fingered salute. You've dropped a bollock, my friend, because I definitely wanted to drop my bollocks watching this. It was an unbelievable movie.
And we'll be back for the sequel, no doubt.
Oh, it's my pick soon. Don't you worry about that. Oh, don't you worry. I've never doubted sword and sorcery movies. What a fucking movie. Oh, Dave, she is a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry. It's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And she's only 58, Dave. You know, she's nearly at your age. So, you know, I've investigated her while I was watching the movie.
I bet you have. I bet you've been scouring her back catalogue and seeing what your other picks could be. That's how you knew about the Ace Ventura thing. But
I fucking knew everything. Don't you worry. I didn't even know the inside leg measurements, everything, Dave. Don't you worry. Unbelievable. What a start to 2025.
So I do want to put a pin in that because I mean it's undeniable, and she's basically straight off a fucking Whitesnake video or something. She's got the hairspray, the big 80s hair and everything. They're just completely impractical barbarian bikini, and just captivating on the screen. But I will say, Chris, Urbano Barberini, we have seen him before. Oh, so you haven't gone quite as deeply into his backstory.
Fuck him, Dave. I don't give a fuck about that footworm. Why the footworm? I want to see what he's in the fucking bell end. Not a chance.
I bet Lee would know him because Lee chose Demons, and Urbano Barberini is George from Demons.
So the main guy.
Yeah.
He's not the main. You know what? That was a good film. Is that the cinema one?
Yeah. Well, the main guy who turned up in like the last third.
The last scene stole the thunder of the woman who was the main.
Was the only survivor. Pretty sure he's in the sequel as well. But yeah, where it all turns quite apocalyptic out of the cinema. So yeah, and the thing is, for me, it turned, even before we get to gore, you're like, oh, this movie is high quality. And I mean that in the most sarcastic way possible, because when Cabot or Tal, they sort of swap his name around, so Tal, he's obviously a bit of a nerdy professor, but you've got all of his students in there. No one seems to respect him. And you've got his girlfriend there, or what appears to be his girlfriend, and they're going to go off to like a cabin, nice romantic cabin for the weekend. And she's like, well, you know, there's no shops there. She's making all these excuses. Meanwhile, Norman, played by Arnold Vosloo, this was his first film, or first American type film. He played the mummy in Brandon Fraser's The Mummy. So he sort of jumped out of the screen. He's a bit smaller. He really bulked out for The Mummy. But the reason, I mean, not just because I recognise him on screen, utterly ridiculous bit of dialogue though. She's sort of getting out of it, and I guess it's almost like that 80s thing where, like, I don't know, relationships are a bit fluid at this point. So she just buggers off like right in front of his eyes. But when Tal transports to Gore, like he's literally, like you say, in a monsoon, and then he's wandering around the desert, and he's like, "What's going on? Is this Norman? Is Norman playing a joke on me?" It's like, mate, you're in a fucking desert. How would Norman, this kid in high school, fucking do this? Transport you from a monsoon into a desert? It's like, oh, is this Norman? So it just seemed utterly ridiculous. But when we see Oliver Reed, and he's clearly the bad guy. And I'm like, fuck me, mate, you are phoning this in like you have never phoned anything in your life. They steal this magical thing, this little plastic thing that looks terrible, and he gives the old, not fist bump, but, he clenches his fist and he's like, it's mine. And I'm like, fucking hell, mate, this, you are better than this, but not in this movie. And what I loved is when Tal, again, he's this awkward professor, and you have these fucking marauding invaders, these barbarian type characters on horseback. And I don't know if there was something weird going on with the editing, but he somehow, like fucking Jar Jar Binks or something, he somehow manages to kill a few of them, including San's son.
Yeah, he's bizarre, isn't it? He's not like Indiana Jones, where he's, 1 minute he's a professor, next minute he's in the fucking jungle. He's got something about him, hasn't he? I'm with you on that. I was thinking, there's been no training montage here. No. He's literally just been transported, and now he's like fucking Conan, and he's just like, fuck it, let's go for it. I'm like, there's no backstory, not even a line of dialogue to say, he's ex-armed forces, or one of them, Dave, like they do. Like I've just watched that Carry On film with Taron Egerton, which I still think is an amazing name. Fucking Carry On. Have you watched
ridiculous? It? I know there's no Barbara Windsor or anything.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's just Nick James. But have you seen any of it at all?
No.
So it's on Netflix. It's basically a rip-off of Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3 with the Simon Says type thing. And it's good. It is good, honestly. It's Jason, whatever he's called, him out of... I don't know why I've even gone down this route, Dave, because I'm not going to get his name.
That person, that thing, who did that thing? Yeah.
Right, let me have a look. Yeah, him as well. Right, so I'll put Carry On. And it's come up with fucking a Carry On films. Hang on a sec. Let's just fucking play the
Carry On
shopping
camping.
mall. Yeah. Carry On camping. Hang on a sec. I think it was fucking Charles Hawtrey was in fucking Carry On. With right, hang on, here we go. By the way, he misses in it. He's actually stunning as well. So Jason Bateman, he plays the sort of baddie in it, but you've got Taron Egerton, but there's a line of dialogue with his missus. They both work at the airport, and he's just the TSA, and all the security people, they go through, check your bags as they go through the scanner and all that. But there's one bit of dialogue, Dave, which sets the whole movie up, and she goes, I just want you to apply for the academy again, the police academy. So you're thinking, hang on, this kid's got something about him here. He's not going to be a pushover. So it sets you up knowing that his character, he's not just going to sit there while everything's going on around him. He's going to, he's going to want to fight because he wants to be a copper. One of them days where you see it in a movie, don't you? Like but in this, there is fuck all on toast. He's gone from a bookworm, puts a ring on. Next minute, he is fucking Conan. He's like, fuck that, let's go for it. And honestly, I was watching and going, and obviously at this point, properly, Dave, Talina hadn't really been shown because I was half side-eyeing it on my phone. And then she arrived, Dave, and I'm like, yeah, that's ridiculous storytelling. Let's just concentrate on this character because this could be Oscar-winning, Dave, in my eyes. I'm sorry. Talina must go down as one of the most underrated characters we've ever seen.
I don't know about character, but definitely the look and like I say, so yeah, I'd say let's tackle it as if we've not spent probably half of the podcast on it already. But when she does come on the screen,
you're the only one, Dave. You're the only one. I've got wipes.
I want to say I was thinking of you, but I wasn't. But I did think to myself, yeah, Chris is going to enjoy this bit at least. And then I'm like sort of laughing to myself at just the ridiculousness of it. Because we've watched stuff like Conan. We've seen other sword and sorcery things. We watched like Krull, which I'd forgotten about, which you reminded me of, and Hawk the Slayer, and less so Hawk the Slayer actually, but sometimes you've got these ridiculous, outfits for the women, like I say, these bikini things. In reality, it'd be like some fucking sackcloth or something,
Yeah,
something you carry your potatoes around in. But, these tightly fitting bikinis. But this is the peak barbarian bikini, I have to say. And the reality is she's basically like got a push-up bra, hasn't she? It's like, everything's pushed up, and like I say, straight out of a White Snake video. The hairspray, there must have been a full can that went into that hair before every scene. You know, it's all sort of up and 80s messy, I would say, but you know, just iconic. And there was something so gloriously 80s about it. But yeah, I remember thinking, you know, maybe this might not go to Alderaan just for that reason.
Dave, don't be silly. It's not going to Alderaan, my friend. we need to just get that right out the fucking bat. But no, I'm with you. It is so silly. I mean, Oliver Reed is just absolutely just on a fucking Freeman's in this, isn't he? Jack Palance's billed as number 2 in the movie. He's in it for literally 2 minutes. I mean, he's not playing a teenager.
Right at the end.
I know, that's what I mean. He's just literally at the end, but he gets fucking number 2 billing and does fuck all on top. I mean, he said Marlon Brando levels of Superman, isn't he, Dave? He doesn't do a Brando, basically. Fucking brilliant.
I'm not joking. Going right back to the end, and then we'll come back for more of the story, but I'm almost at the end of the movie, and I'm like, I'm fucking sure Jack Palance was supposed to be in this. And I'm like, have I fucking watched the wrong movie here or something? Or have I just got things confused? And then it's like, oh, he appears right at the end, has, again, some harem of women, and then fucking film ends. Like, well, he was in, but Jesus Christ, if he got more than 10 quid for that, fucking good on him, because, you know, he did the minimum. That was even less than Marlon Brando in Superman. It was just an unbelievable cameo right at the end.
It was, because I was watching it thinking there was a character earlier on who looked like him, same job. I'm thinking, have they de-aged him here? He must. How old is he when this? I'm looking, going,
he did look like him, didn't he?
Yeah, and I was thinking, is there some de? And I'm thinking, there's no way they've de-aged in '87, because in fucking Hawk the Slayer, he was supposed to be somewhat that guy's son and looked older than him. And I think
Christian Bale as well. Yeah, the way you de-aged back in the day was to give them some curtains.
Yeah, give him some curtains. You find, he's only a young teenager. Are you sure about that? But yeah, I was, honestly, there was a guy with Oliver Reed, and I'm like, that's not fucking him, is it? What's going on here? So, you know, you're thinking it's 2024 and they can de-age people. We've seen, like, we always talk about Michael Douglas in the Marvel stuff, Ant-Man and that. Brilliant as Hank, you know, the Hank Pym's when they de-age him. That's some of the best I've seen. Whereas you look at fucking Thingy's dad in Aquaman.
You're going to say Aquaman, aren't you?
Aquaman, that is the worst fucking de-aging I've ever seen. Fucking Tamara, whatever he's called, Morrison, is it? It's some of the worst de-aging I've ever seen in a movie. Or even in the cinema, I know Sam went, what the fuck is that? That is terrible. But yeah, it's weird though, because the story, I mean, Dale, I can't even lie. I don't know what's going on, and I don't even care. I'm just waiting for Talina to come on and save the day. But like, Tal Cabot, you know, as the movie gets on, he becomes basically indestructible, doesn't he, really? You know, he's gone from a bookworm, Indiana Jones style, to this absolute hero. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, and you're right about, I mean, I'm joking. It's got really bad reviews because of the sexualization of, like, the way the women are slaves to men and everything and all that sort of jazz. Whereas I can relate being a slave to my wife, Dave, Samantha. So I'm actually the other way round. So I can relate to that. But it is, I get it. I do understand it, but it almost feels as if this should have been on, like, maybe the Playboy channel, Dave, with a little bit more of them having a party at one point, maybe, you know, and everyone, you know, going to a communal bathing thing. I don't know. It's just weird, isn't it? It's a really bizarre movie. And obviously, it spawned a fucking sequel, which I'm all for covering at some point, without a doubt. But it is a really, really shit movie. It really is a poor movie. But again, there's just a few things that elevate the movie for me, Dave. Well, I'm not saying, obviously, but yeah, I think Oliver Reed himself, I mean, he snogs one of the women at one point, and then we've got him wrestling, haven't we? Talina ends up wrestling, and she has this fucking fight to the death type thing. But the surrounding world they're trying to bring just doesn't feel, it feels quite claustrophobic. You can tell the budget, it was all filmed in the same area, wasn't it? I don't know, it's not a great, I mean, I don't think there's many good sword and sorcery. Maybe Conan is the exception, but there's not many I've watched where you go, that's quite a good movie. yeah, I think it's pretty poor, to be honest. The way it's a definite Canon movie, and you can see why. The budget, what was the budget? Oh, they made 159,000 box office. There's not even a budget, Dave. I'd be lucky if they fucking. There was no way they even made the budget for that. Probably, yeah.
So, obviously, this was very, very loosely based. There was a series of books called The Tarnsman of Gore, and I'd like to say very, very loosely based on it. But there's a whole Gorean subculture that's developed around this, and I was reading up on it, and there is quite a lot of kind of BDSM, female submission stuff in there. I'm like, oh fucking hell! Like if you Google it, and then I quickly wiped off the history from that. There's like people who actively practice Gorean culture, let's say.
Well, Dave, you've explained that very well. And I do appreciate it, because I know it sounds quite disrespectful. I'm not, but it's strange, isn't it? Because I think what they're trying to go for, they're trying to build this sort of world, aren't they? And I can almost see Star Wars stuff in this as well. You know, like the Star Wars DNA. A lot of movies. I know Star Wars in Sword and Sorcery, but it's the same thing. The sword fight, the lightsabers, all that sort of thing. You can see some of the characters. They're trying to go for that, but I just think because it's so low budget, it just comes across as honestly, to me, this would have been a proper Playboy job that I probably would have tuned into when I was, trying to, discover myself when I was a young lad. But it's a bizarre movie. And Oliver Reed, obviously, one of the greatest actors. He's done some amazing films, hasn't he? I know he ends up doing Gladiator like 12 years later. Unfortunately, he passed away filming, but he is just going, you know what, I just need a bit of cash here. I need a bit of a cash. Go on a fucking bit of a Beano somewhere. I'll do anything. And he does. And you can see like he is not interested in this movie at all. I mean, there's a weird bit where he kisses a woman, but his back's to the camera. And he's snogging, and I'm like, why is your back to the camera? It was really bizarre that. I don't know, there was just something off. I think he was probably absolutely wasted and like, fucking film me here, otherwise I'm walking off set. This is it. He's probably doing a Sean Connery. What was the Sean Connery movie? Was it Highlander where he was doing it and he had his fucking golf gear on underneath and everything and at the bottom because he was on the fucking golf course. He couldn't be fucking arsed, could he, doing the movie? It's like Oliver Reed's like, look, I've got a pint in the fucking pub. Let's do this shit. This is what I'm doing. I'm not doing retakes. That's what you're getting. And it's weird, isn't it? It's really weird.
So I do think he's absolutely phoning it in. But there was a little bit where, he's obviously into the ladies, but he seems to be into the men a bit as well. So, a bit of a pansexual hint there from Sam, so there could have been more from his character. The thing I'd say about this movie, and another reason for the terrible reviews, largely, it's fucking boring. We're talking about it, as if there's loads going on, and I guess there kind of is, but there's just something about it that just drags everything out. The movie goes on way too long. It could have been edited down a lot more. But the thing I found really weird was how Sam just embraces Tal. And, it's just like, come and be part of my fold. And there's a lot of this, which is basically, it is Conan, except, the James Earl Jones character is Oliver Reed. But yeah, it's just all a bit weird. And then he's by his side and, he's branding women and stuff like that. And one of them turns out to be Talina. And, clearly that's where it's all going to go wrong. The other thing, when you were saying about Talina wrestling, the other thing that I thought was impressive about old Miss Ferrati was no. I'm gonna say,
we get that spade out when you digging it. Go on.
No, I was gonna say all of the stunts were clearly her. There was no camera trickery. There was no, the camera's at the back while she does a flip or gets thrown around or something. It was clearly her. I mean, this was like an American Italian production, wasn't it? And I think they just don't give a shit, about the main actors. Whereas most of the higher budget movies, you want to protect your actors because if someone, sprains an ankle or something like that, that's it. They've got to go off to the hospital, and you can't shoot those scenes. So So yeah, I was impressed that everyone sort of did their own stunts.
Yeah, you know what? And to be fair, I read the trivia actually. The reason she did her own stunts is her stunt double hurt herself on a horse, so then she ends up convincing the director to do her own stunts through the movie. So that's one of the reasons, which is interesting, Dave. So she obviously wants to get stuck in, and then there's no other fucking trivia. That's the best I can get. That's the best I've got, Dave. You know what I mean? You were filming Outlaw and Gore at the same time, back to back, which is obviously the second one with all the same characters in, which is bizarre. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because you're right what you're saying about like Conan, about like the way the world itself. And what was the one we watched, Dave? Where you had the skateboarders. This
Solar Babies.
Solar Babies, yeah. Glenn's pick, wasn't it? Sorry, Glenn. Glenn's pick, and it's Solar Babies, and you're watching it, and they're just in a desert somewhere, aren't they, doing these fucking stunts and everything, and it's a weird, and it
with
feels like
skatable surfaces though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no sand or anything. They can go anywhere, but this feels like that. It feels like they've gone somewhere in a desert, say in America or wherever this is filmed. And they've just gone, look, we've got to film this all in one fucking go. Because there's a few times where I'm sure some of the extras get killed. And then later on, they're in it again and get killed again as another extra. There was a couple of the guys, I'm like, got killed earlier on, but he gets killed again. And then there was a scene, I think, which repeated itself. And I was like, I'm sure we've seen that earlier on. But then I'm like, no, maybe, is it a flashback? What's going on? So there's a load of like clipping things and editing stuff, but it doesn't really matter, Dave, does it? It's a fucking abomination of a movie. It's absolutely terrible. And it's the fact that like Tal Cobbett is now the leader of this rebellion fucking army. He's come from nowhere, hasn't he? Just because he had the bollocks to stand up with it. I mean, typical, the big bully is some fucking big, like, sort of, looks like Pluto off Popeye with a beard, and the guy's there, like, fucking, he's bullying everyone, and he's the only one who's got the bollocks to stand up to him. But he ends up sort of being the de facto fucking leader of the rebellion, doesn't he, going into this war with no training whatsoever, other than the fact that the ring must give him these superpowers, Dave, where he can wield a sword and everything. And I know there's a couple of times where he does come under there's a little bit of doubt in his character, but then the next scene he's going full on Rambo, isn't he, and just taking people out. So it's a strange fucking movie. It really is a strange movie, but also glorious, Dave, as well at the same time.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've done that on purpose, Chris, but the kind of bad guy, you know, who's a bit of the old, I don't know, he's just like a local gangster almost, isn't he? Played by Paul L. Smith, did actually play Bluto in the 1980 Popeye.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I know who he is. I didn't realise that was him. I know who he is. Yeah, he's been in a few things as a big guy, like a bit of a fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. Oh, actually, Dave, there's another. You're saying that about the different movies. I'll tell you one as well. So, Rebecca Ferrita, Dave, and I recognised her. She's also, and I know what outfit she's got on in this movie. She's also one of the Playboy bunnies in Beverly Hills a Cop.
Oh, it was in the same year. It was in 1987,
same
wasn't
year.
it? Yeah.
I can see her now, Dave. She's got the white negligee thing on and everything, and Axel Foley's saying "Follow my dick," you know, and all that stuff.
Post this episode. I might have to post it as Rebecca Ferrati discussion. Also, a little bit of gore.
Gore, yeah. The Rebecca Ferrati movie, fucking special. And we come like my Lauren Avedon obsession, Dave. Yeah. So we're doing this one now, Dave. What one's this one? I ain't got a fucking clue. But Rebecca Ferrati, fuck off, Chris. People are just tuning out now. But
no, yeah. It's a really good movie. It's 2.4 on IMDb. But you know, I think it's got potential.
Well, there's one in Malibu Beach, Dave, from 1978. I don't know what that was. Just one for the guys. Oh, hang on. One for the guys. Hang on. What is this? Just one for the guys. Look at that. You've got to look at the VHS cover,
Dave. Tell you what, that'd be the old wet nurses too. That would.
Hey, fuck off. If she was called Helga in it, then Dave, I'll say I'm done. I'm finished. I've peaked. What a fucking movie! But getting back to this, so obviously when he saves the day and everything, and then he goes back to the future, and that guy's having a pop at him.
Yeah, not the future.
Oh, right. So,
it goes back to Earth, Gore.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's the opposite side of the sun to Earth.
Right, okay. Right. Well, okay. So it's a bit like I've just watched, just finished actually last night because somebody reminded me Stranger Things, which I fully enjoyed. I've never watched it, so I did enjoy it. I really didn't. Yeah, I did enjoy it. It was good, to be honest. There's a few bits where I was like, well, I don't know at the start, but no, I did enjoy it. Number 11, Dave, is the one. That's all I'll say. But that is the flip side, isn't it? It's like it's the world, but basically upside down, basically. And so this is the upside down. So he's not gone back to the future, then, Dave. Sorry, he's gone back to Earth. And he's having a go at that pompous guy. The guy's having a go at him, and all that. And he just chins him. Yeah. He just chins him. But nobody even bats an eyelid, do they? He just knocks him out and just sort of walks off. And I'm like, well, that was fucking bizarre.
80s justice.
It is, because it's the slowest fucking punch you've ever seen as well. He telegraphs it from about 3 weeks before, and that guy could have I'm doing it now, he could have easily fucking jumped out the way. But it's a good punch, he rides off into the fucking sunset, Dave. I mean, what a movie you've picked this week. I didn't expect this fucking thing when I started it, but what a movie.
Yeah. So it was a bit weird, wasn't it? Like I say, said about Jack Palance, and it's clearly setting up a sequel. Having seen it, it's very clear that it's filmed at the same time. It's a bit like the old Superman 1 and 2 job. But also Tal ends up just back where he started, back on Earth. And but he's changed, hasn't he? He takes no shit now. Whereas he was downtrodden at the start of the movie, a bit of a weakling, and even though whips his shirt off, he's fucking ripped, and he
big time ripped.
And saw too much of his bum than I'd prefer, but in this movie. So I mean, abrupt ending, but like I say, Chris, there is a sequel, and so not promising that's not going to be picked at some point in the future. But Chris, anything else before we get into our final review?
Dave, you won't be picking the sequel, my friend. Don't you worry about that.
This is not what I expected coming into this today. I expected...
Well, I needed something to fucking perk me up watching this shit, Dave, and it worked. It worked a fucking treat. The complete opposite of what you wanted, but unbelievable.
Well, on that bombshell, let's get into our final review.
Let's go. No, Dave, it all worked against you, my friend, because for me, I will watch this movie again. And the sequel. I don't give a fuck that it's sword and sorcery. And I know it sounds really bad because it's all about Rebecca Ferrati. But Dave, I don't care. This was amazing. What a start. The 2025, the last two movies, and I'm revealing my fucking score, I've gone straight to the top. Dave, this is a Cloud City all day long. You've pulled one out of the bag. I don't care. And I know Blake now has got his spreadsheet, and I appreciate Blake as an amazing tracker for what we score and everything. This is at the top, Dave. This is a great start to 2025, and I had a fucking amazing time. 94 minutes of pure brilliance, my friend. He elevated me, took me back to being a kid, wondering how I would have put my foot on that fucking door watching it, how I would have had the video fast forwarded to the different bits so that it was undetectable that I'd been watching a little bit of smut. Amazing, Dave. Rebecca Ferrati, I bow down at the altar. What a pick, Dave. So what are you going to say about that, Mr. Horace?
I mean, any kind of trends that are put together on genres and how we vote and whatever are just going to be blown out of the water with this one. I am gobsmacked. Of all the possible ways I thought this would go, I just am stunned by that. So, it's going to make my score seem a bit crappy in comparison. So, yes, the Rebecca Ferrati element of this is undeniable. highly impractical gear, but just so iconic as well. And it, as you said, it sort of takes you back to that time when this was normal. I mean, can you imagine fucking film like this coming out today? People would be going nuts.
Cancelled.
Oh, easily. But so for me, I do feel like the film dragged on a bit. I mean, if there was more Rebecca Ferrati, it might be a different case. But no, it's just ridiculous. But I kind of loved it for that, So it's like, I know it's shit, and objectively, it is shit. But I just love the fact that this movie exists. And again, it's just this time capsule of nonsense. And again, this kind of post-Conan era where we got all this sword and sorcery stuff. Chris, I haven't just watched the sequel. I've been watching loads of other stuff as well.
Oh, really? You're slating me? That catalogue.
Yeah, but I unashamedly love this sword and sorcery stuff.
Shit.
But yeah, we should get onto those. Chris, I said before, 2025, it has crossed my mind that every single one of my picks this year might be sword and sorcery, but I'm not sure even I've got the staying power for that. But we'll see. But Chris, this is going in the middle for me. Now, let's be serious. Objectively, it's terrible. It really is terrible. But it is on that scale of so bad it's good. For me, and all the other ththings that we talked about as well. It's going in the middle, though. It's going in Hill Valley. I think, if you're into this genre, it's definitely worth a watch. Don't expect to watch, another Conan. This is a pale imitation of that, but a couple of things stand out.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway. Unbelievable. So really, you've just done the politically correct.
I don't know if it's that politically correct.
Well, you've done it a lot better than I have. I've just literally gone full on six
You're more
names
unashamedly like, fucking hell, boy.
Yeah. You're allowed to fucking say, Dave, you find someone attractive. I don't give a fuck about what people say to it, Sam. She is. I'm not saying to you, I mean just me. I've just thrown it in there. But anyway, Dave, it is a pick next week. It's a Patreon pick. So what have we got, my friend? And if it's Rebecca Ferrati, I might as well just stay here now. I'll just be unbelievable if that, she gets picked again. But what are we doing next week?
Well, I did talk about the sequel for Gore. Unfortunately, it's not that. So this one is coming through from Kent, and he was talking about doing some of the Chevy Chase movies. So we're going to go back, Chris, to 1983, the original Vacation movie. We're going back to Wally World, and we're going to National Lampoon's Vacation. Now let's get into the trailer.
This is actually an underrated, iconic song, this, Dave.
Oh.
This is National Lampoon's.
It is so iconic, isn't it? As soon as you hear it.
When you think vacation, think National Lampoon's Vacation.
It's mad, isn't it? We've never done this, but we did the Christmas one.
Yeah. I mean, it was Christmas, so.
True.
It's friendly.
I'm okay.
Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?
It's educational.
Great.
And most of all, it's fun.
Dave, Rebecca Ferrati, hang on a minute. There's Chrissy Brinkley, that, isn't it?
Picnic basket.
We could be in trouble.
Like Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo.
I used to like Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Randy Quaid, John Candy, and Christy Brinkley.
Oh, my word. Oh, we're in trouble here. We are in trouble. Fucking hormones are all over the place here, Dave. What is going on?
This summer,
You're switching off. Just a pair of fucking lechy old men. Fucking humbling 80s women.
Vacation.
No, I can't wait for this. What a pick, Ken. What a pick. No, but you say Rebecca. I remember watching Chrissy Brinkley. She's in both of them, isn't she? I don't think she's in the European. She's in this one though, and the Ferrari as well. She's got the Magnum Ferrari, the 308 GTS, and I'm like, but Beverly D'Angelo, Dave. She was. Yeah, there was something about her as well. I didn't mind her as Mrs. Griswold as well. So Interesting. Well, great pick. Great pick. I sound so fucking lechy, don't I, but that isn't my intention. Yep. But you're interested, though. Will they stand up? Because I remember the car. I saw someone on Facebook the other day about the car and everything, and someone's even found the one from when they go to Vegas where fucking Randy Quaid's fucking Winnebago. It's on like a trailer somewhere wrecked, as it was in the film. And it's been in like a desert or somewhere in some junkyard for years. So they found it basically straight off the set. Why they didn't keep it, I don't know. But yeah, but no, what a great pick. What an amazing pick. I'm just worried about what I'm going to say next week now, Dave, because there is a few bits in this I remember as a fucking young, impressionable kid thinking, oh yeah. I mean, Clark's a bit of a dirty dick, really. Because
I was going to say that's where I don't think he'll necessarily stand up, because I just think I remember with the Christmas one, you're like, he's a bit of a cheating fucking douchebag, But let's see. It might not go that way.
No, that's true. But anyway, massive thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it today, everyone. I know Dave's gone a bit overboard with Rebecca Ferrati, but, I tried to pull it back for us, or pull it out, whichever. But no, massive thank you to everyone who's going to 2025. I think you're right about the year of the stitch-up. And Dave, it's been a year or so since the main man has actually starred on the VHS Strikes Back, so he may have to come out pretty soon, my friend. We've not seen him for a while.
Terry Jim Bollea?
Oh, no. The VHS fucking mascot.
Oh, of course.
How dare you? How dare you?
I watched The Last Kumite the other day, Yeah,
Is it any good?
It's not good.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad I've seen
what
it.
we were going to pay for.
Yeah, I'm not. But maybe we'll do that as a late fees or something. It's definitely, an imitation, if you like, of Bloodsport and all those kind of 80s movies. It definitely knows what it's trying to do. So yeah, it's good.
Oh, I'll have to have a watch that. I know it's available, so I'll have to watch it, definitely. How bad it's going to be. But anyway, massive thank you, Dave, and massive thank you to everyone. A big thanks to Kent for next week's pick. I'm looking forward to that. I used to love their movies. If you want to email us, the VHSstrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @VHSstrikesback. As always, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. And a massive thank you to everyone who supported us throughout 2024 and into 2025, past and present. We do appreciate all your support, guys. So thank you so much. So the roll call of honour, and the first one for 2025. And a big thank you to Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Kent, Lucky Luda Green, Herbs, Jacks, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, everyone, guys. Thank you so much. And I got all tongue twisted there, Dave. It's probably the Rebecca Ferrati episode. It's got my fucking blood pressure up. But what an episode today, my friend. One of the best we've ever done.
Yeah, definitely. And I just... That Cloud City has honestly floored me. You've stunned me. We've been doing this for so long now. It's rare that we can properly knock each other off our rhythm there. But I was expecting you to notice, but not to quite enjoy it quite so much. But no, honestly, it's been so much fun. I just love it. Obviously, we love the brilliant movies, and I can't wait to get back and watch National Lampoon's Vacation. But, just going back to some of these terrible movies that, let's face it, we'd have probably never watched. And just, we end up watching it, but then having a lot of fun chatting about it. And then the interactions as well that we have with everyone. It's just fantastic. But Chris, for our little musical number this week, I've gone full on 80s. Now, if you can imagine, maybe a bit later on, sort of MC Hammer, not necessarily the sound of MC Hammer, but, all the dancers and everything in the background, the camera angles being at 30 degrees or something like that, and lots of quick changes. This is probably one of the most 80s things I've put together. So this is... What did I call it? I think I called it Gore. Oh yeah, Gore. What is it good for? So here we go.
Oh my god.
What is it good for? time to watch sword and sorcery. Turns out, boys, they total tragedy. Moving so bad, it devoured my soul. Couldn't wait for the final credits to roll. Your opinion, my stitch up. It's totally legit, but I'm telling you now, it was totally worth it.
Well, the dog where the sands are hard. Sands are hard, sands are hard. And the blossom that thought it's all we've got. All we got, all we got. Evil kings, barbarian law. Barbarian law, barbarian law. Push up bros and it's way hard. Sweaty hard, sweaty hard. From Ohio, teaching history at school now. He's in the barbarian desert, acting like a tool. Doesn't have a soul, doesn't have a clue. Why is he here? What is he supposed to do?
Saxophone.
Yeah. Big Kenny G.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. What is it good for?
Very clever,
I got the Muppets in the background there.
Yeah. Oh, fucking 80s jacket.
Yeah.
I am.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. What is it good for?
Brilliant. It's really good, this one, Dave.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome to Blow, where the sands are hot. Sands are hot, sands are hot. And the thoughts are menace, but it's all we've got. All we've got, all we got. Evil kings, barbarian bros. Barbarian bros, barbarian bros. Push up brawls and sweaty holes. Sweaty holes, sweaty holes.
Kenny G's back.
Over there.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. What is it good for? Nothing, but it's totally worth it, yeah. Nothing, but it's totally worth it, yeah. Nothing, but it's totally worth it, yeah.
There you go, Chris. Totally
Thank
worth
you so
it.
much to Hollywood. Love it. Absolutely love it, mate. That was brilliant.
I thought it was going to be more of a stitch up than it ended up being when I put this together. But I did actually think, because I couldn't get the rap at the start to work, so I ended up having to edit that in later. I was going to actually try and do that myself just to put some added spice onto that. But Chris, it has been so much fun. We have kicked off the new year with a bang. We've got an unexpected Cloud City, which is going to destroy Blake's trending model. that he's got set up there, which has me putting sword and sorcery higher and you basically slating them. But yeah, so much fun, mate. So thank you very much for that. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just stupid. Yeah, maybe you crazy. Ain't